very good morning. Thank you for tuning in to Friday's edition of Quick This Morning. I'm Samiksha Srivastava. In this edition, we get you all the latest that's making news back home from across the world and from the world of glitz and glamour. Our top international story remains the massive escalation in the Russia-Ukraine war with the use of intercontinental ballistic missiles. We'll get you the latest on that as well as the US statement that's come in. Starting first up with the top stories back home. Union Home Minister Amit Shah is set to visit Delhi Police Headquarters for an important meet with senior police officials, which includes one with Delhi Police Commissioner. The meeting is expected to address several pressing issues related to law and order in the capital, including the rising incidents of shootouts and the growing menace of extortion calls run by gangsters. Sources even suggest that Amit Shah will review the current security situation and discuss strategies to curb these criminal activities. New guidelines are set to be issued on similar lines as well. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh held a meet with US Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin on 21st of November on the sidelines of the 11th ASEAN Defense Ministers meeting, plus one in Laos. The leaders review progress in the India-US Defense Partnership, achievements under the Defense Industrial Cooperation Roadmap, which includes joint co-production of jet engines and munitions as well. They also spoke about efforts to strengthen military interoperability and support to free and open Indo-Pacific. Rajnath Singh also put forth Quad initiatives which included disaster response and logistic networks. Both sides committed to fostering defense innovation and sustaining a momentum in the bilateral cooperation going ahead. Delhi Police Anti-narcotics Task Force, the ANTF, has dismantled an international drug racket. The cartel in which two key members have been arrested, including a Nigerian national, and seized MDMA and 6,790 ecstasy tablets worth 4 crore rupees. This crackdown uncovered drugs smuggled by courier services with links to suppliers in Himachal Pradesh and Goa. Arrested were Arnab Goswami from Ghaziabad, found with 33 grams of MDMA and other drugs with 47 grams of MDMA and over 3 kgs of ecstasy tablets at his residence. This joint operation saw joint efforts to combat drug trafficking across Delhi, NCR and beyond.
तकरीबन 7,000 इसमें गोलियां जो तकरीबन 3-3.25 किलो बनती हैं, 7,000 गोलियां MDMA की मिली हैं, 6,790 टू बी एग्जैक्ट, और वो रिफाइंड क्वालिटी की MDMA जिसको हम एक्सटेसी ड्रग भी बोलते हैं, जो खुशी के लिए ली जाती है, जो अपने आप को हाई करने के लिए ली जाती है। तो एक्सटेसी ड्रग बरामद हुई जिसकी मार्केट वैल्यू 4 करोड़ रुपया है।
India has strongly reiterated its demand for urgent reforms to the United Nations Security Council, once again highlighting the need for a structure that reflects contemporary global realities. Speaking at the plenary of intergovernmental negotiations on UNSC reform, India's permanent representative to the UN, Parvateni Harish, called the current design of the Council detrimental to the credibility and effectiveness of the United Nations and stressed on the urgency of addressing these shortcomings. Harish even rejected proposals for religion-based representation, stating that such criteria cannot serve as a basis for inclusion in the United Nations Security Council. Instead, India's envoy reaffirmed the stand of the country on equitable geographical representation, particularly advocating for greater representation from underrepresented regions like Africa, Asia Pacific and Latin America in permanent membership category.
My delegation agrees with the assertion that the UN Security Council in its current design is detrimental to the credibility and effectiveness of the UN and must be addressed at the earliest. We need a UN Security Council that reflects the new multipolar world of today. In this regard, we are also in agreement with Liechtenstein's addition of having at least one member from the small island developing states. My delegation does not support any claims being made by so-called cross-regional groups on the basis of faith or religion, which cannot be the sole basis for representation in the Council.
An important hearing is scheduled in the top court today to address the Hindu side's request to transfer all 15 cases related to Gyanvapi dispute in Varanasi to the High Court. Vishnu Shankar Jain, who is representing the Hindu petitioners, has argued that the cases currently being heard in various lower courts, including the District and Civil Judges Court, could lead to contradictory rulings. Jain even urged the top court to consolidate the cases in the High Court for consistency and clarity, noting that some related matters are already under review there in the petition that's been filed in the top court. The Central Bureau of Investigation on Thursday questioned Gaurav Mehta, an employee of an audit firm, in connection with an investigation into the 6,600 Bitcoin scam from 2018. Mehta also was called in after his name appeared in alleged audio clips which involved Maharashtra political leaders Nana Patole and Supriya Sule discussing the encashment of cryptocurrency. The Central Bureau of Investigation has been probing his involvement in the scam and his role in the purported Bitcoin transactions. Gaurav Mehta is set to face further questioning today in Raipur. The case, which was handed over to the CBI by the top court in December last year, involves multiple states and alleges widespread cryptocurrency fraud by Gaurav Mehta. The bodies of individuals who went missing during a violent conflict in Manipur's Jiribam district remain at Silchar Medical College and Hospital in Assam, as their families are still unwilling to accept them for last rites. The 6 victims, which include 3 women and children, were found in a decomposed state in the Jiri and Barak rivers in Assam and were brought to the hospital for autopsy. In fact, despite the completion of postmortems, families have not claimed the bodies, citing the current unrest in Jiribam district as a reason for the refusal. Manipur police, meanwhile, has been attempting to convince the families to accept the remains, while Assam police is urging for their prompt return to Manipur. The Vice RCP on Thursday said that its government had no direct agreement with the Adani Group and the power and sales pact that was signed in 2021 between the Solar Energy Cooperation of India Limited and AP Discoms. The Jagan Mohan Reddy's led party's reaction came in response to Adani Group being indicted by the US Department of Justice for allegedly paying bribes for solar power contracts in Andhra Pradesh during YSRCP rule. A statement from their part said that the power sale pact was signed between the SCCI and AP Discoms with regulatory approvals. And the Adani Group has been indicted by a US court. We get you the details in this segment. The Adani Group on Thursday issued a statement which said that all the allegations that have been made by the US Department of Justice are baseless and denied those. In a detailed statement that was issued, Adani Group said that the company will be seeking a legal recourse. In an earlier development, a US court indicted billionaire Gautam Adani and others for bribery and fraud. As a consequence of the charges, arrest warrants have reportedly been issued for Gautam Adani's group and Sagar Adani, with prosecutors intending to involve international law enforcement to indict them. Adani Green Energy Limited has withdrawn its plans to issue US dollar-dominated bonds following criminal charges filed against key members of its board. The company had intended to raise $600 million through the bond offering, which had already been priced but was pulled after news broke of the legal troubles surrounding the Adani Group. The charges stem from a criminal indictment filed in New York City accusing Gautam Adani, the billionaire chairman of the Adani Group, and his nephew Sagar Adani of being involved in $265 million bribery scheme. According to US prosecutors, Adani's, along with 7 other defendants, allegedly paid bribes to Indian government officials to secure contracts for a solar power project and was expected to generate $2 billion in profits over the next 20 years. Post the indictment, Adani Green Energy has decided to cancel its bond offering, which would have raised significant capital for the company itself. Meanwhile, Kenyan President William Ruto on Thursday reportedly said that he has ordered the cancellation of the process for awarding the contract for construction of the country's main airport to the Adani Group. This move came after a US court on Thursday indicted the Adani Group in an alleged case of fraud and bribery. The Adani Group was slated to add a second runway at the international airport, Kenyatta International Airport, and has since not responded to the development yet.
In the face of undisputed evidence on corruption, I will not hesitate to take decisive action. Accordingly, I now direct, in furtherance of the principles enshrined in Article 10 of the Constitution on transparency and accountability, and based on new information provided by investigative agencies and partner nations, that the procuring agencies within the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum.
Now, since the victory of President-elect Donald Trump, Bitcoin's price has experienced a significant surge, reflecting both market anticipation and investor optimism as well. The cryptocurrency, which had already been on rising trajectory throughout the year, has seen a spike, increasing by nearly 40% in just 2 weeks' time, with its price currently hovering around $96,898. This marked shift towards the $1 lakh valuation that has drawn attention from investors and market analysts alike. The rise in Bitcoin's price would largely be attributed to the prevalent pro-cryptocurrency stand under Trump's administration. Under the president-elect's administration, during his campaign, Trump expressed his vision of making America the crypto capital of the world, a sentiment that has since been embraced positively by the crypto community. A recent report from Goldman Sachs predicts that India will remain largely insulated from the potential economic fallout of trade war between the US and China in 2025, despite global uncertainties. The report highlighted India's strong long-term structural prospects, which are expected to protect from the country from global shocks. However, it also forecasts a cyclical slowdown, with India's GDP growth projected to decline to 6.3% year-on-year in 2025, driven by fiscal consolidation and tighter credit growth due to measures by the Reserve Bank of India. The RBI is expected to adopt a cautious approach, easing interest rates gradually in the first half of 2025, with an anticipated repo rate cut by 25 basis points. A string of cautious measures could provide immunity against global shocks and changes in the geopolitical dynamics. And one of the top international stories that we've been tracking is, of course, the major escalation in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Russia having attacked Ukraine once again in Dnipro with intercontinental ballistic missiles. We get you the details in this segment. The Russian State Duma approved the government's draft budget for 2025 to 2027, which allocates a record amount to defense spending. The proposed budget designates 32.5% of Russia's total expenditures to defense, which is an increase from 28.3% this year, amounting to nearly 13.5 trillion rubles, which is over $145 billion. This increase reflects Russia's ongoing efforts to succeed in the war against Ukraine. The approval comes amid heightened tension as the US relaxed restrictions on Ukraine's use of American-made long-range missiles within Russia, followed by President Vladimir Putin lowering the threshold for the use of nuclear weapons. European Commission Vice President Valdis Dombrovskis stated on Thursday that the European Union and South American trade bloc are making significant strides on the trade deal that has been something which has been talked about a lot lately. He explained that negotiations are ongoing, with chief negotiators from both sides working to address remaining technical issues, further noting that while technical discussions continue, they will later assess at a political level whether the conditions are in place to finalize the agreement. He also acknowledged that, as is often the case with trade negotiations, it is challenging to set a specific deadline, as a focus must be on ensuring the substance of the deal is correct before concluding it.
Mercosur. So negotiations are ongoing, and the chief negotiators on both sides have been tasked to continue the technical context to resolve the outstanding issues. But on substance, we are making good progress. Following those technical negotiations, we will take stock also at the political level whether conditions for concluding the agreement are met.
As the Biden administration nears the end of its term, tension continues between the government and airlines that feel over-regulated. Transportation Secretary has responded to the criticism from airline CEOs on Thursday, defending the regulations his department has implemented, such as automatic cash refunds for cancelled flights, which he said have broad public trust support, further emphasizing that these regulations are beneficial for the airline industry, pointing out that many airlines are still making strong profits despite the consumer protections. Further adding comments, speaking about the comments from the CEOs of Delta and Southwest who hope that Trump's administration would adopt a more business-friendly approach, further noting that while airlines may hope for fewer passenger protections under a future administration, public feedback has overwhelmingly supported these protections, including the widely supported idea of automatic hassle-free refunds.
I know that some airline CEOs have expressed hopes that the next administration will be less passenger-friendly and more corporation-friendly than this administration. I can't speculate on whether that's true or not. What I will say is that the passenger protections we have put in place deservedly enjoy broad public bipartisan support. So while they might be hoping that a future administration will eliminate those passenger protections, I've got to say that the feedback we've gotten from the public has been universally supportive.
U.S. Envoy Amos Hochstein held talks on Thursday in Tel Aviv with Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz and military chief. The Biden administration's lead on Israel and Lebanon has been working to facilitate an agreement between the two sides, meeting with officials in both Lebanon and Israel. This week, on Wednesday, Israeli officials insisted on the right to target Lebanon's Hezbollah in any potential ceasefire deal, creating a possible complication in the ongoing war. A spokesperson for Ukraine's foreign ministry said that the government has been awaiting expert analysis to confirm the exact type of missile that Russia fired at the country on Thursday. He explained that the missile, which was reportedly aimed at the central city of Dnipro, appeared to have the flight characteristics of an intercontinental ballistic missile. However, U.S. officials stated that the initial assessment indicated it was an intermediate-range ballistic missile. The spokesperson further emphasized that the use of this new missile type further proves that Russia is not seeking peace, rather expanding the war both geographically and through the use of different weapons. In response to Russia's actions, Ukraine's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has already taken political and diplomatic steps, including contacting international partners and engaging with mechanisms within the United Nations, NATO and the OSCE organization. Pete Hegseth, who was chosen by President-elect Donald Trump to be the Secretary of Defense, met with senators in Capitol Hill on Thursday, expressing his deep gratitude for the incredible and humbling opportunity to be nominated to lead the Department of Defense, emphasizing that he takes the responsibility seriously. He further thanked Vice President for spending the morning with him, noting that as a former senator, the Vice President understands the significance of the Senate's advice and consent role, a process they fully respect. He further stated that as they move forward, they take nothing for granted and are eager to engage with any senator who wishes to have a fruitful discussion.
President of the United States, for this amazing, humbling opportunity to be nominated to lead the Department of Defense. It's an incredible opportunity that I do not take lightly. I just want to thank the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, who spent the morning with me, meeting with Senators of the United States. We take very seriously the advice and consent role that the U.S. Senate has. We look forward to engaging in that process. We take absolutely nothing for granted, and we welcome the opportunity to talk to any senator that wants to talk to us.
The United Nations Special Coordinator for the Middle East has stated that the Gaza war is UN's biggest challenge, and this while the war between in the Middle East is seeing no end.
The Israeli economy is going down, and there are tensions in Israel that I have never seen in all my period of work here that are now playing out in front of our eyes. So the whole system, both in Palestine and in Israel, is out of balance.
Welcome back. You're watching Quick Morning. Let's now take a look at sports stories that we are tracking in this edition. India wicketkeeper batter Yastika Bhatia has been the India wicketkeeper batter Yastika Bhatia has been ruled out of the remainder of the Women's Big Bash League due to a wrist fracture, as per the Melbourne Stars. Ahead of the first test against Australia in Perth, experienced India batter Pujara has termed left-handed opener Yashasvi Jaiswal as the most important cog in visitors' side. The BCCI has confirmed that left-handed batter Devdutt Padikkal has been added to the India team ahead of the first test of the Border Gavaskar Trophy against Australia. Two-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu's campaign at China Masters Super 70 badminton tournament came to an end in second round after she lost to Singapore's Yeo Jia Min in a hard-fought three-game women's singles contest in China. Indian cricket team captain Rohit Sharma is set to join his teammates in Perth on 24th of November, which would mark his arrival midway through the first test against Australia at Oppo Stadium. Alistair Bolini admitted that he had achieved far more than he ever dared to imagine after announcing his retirement from triathlon. He won back-to-back men's Olympic triathlons in 2012 and 2016. Costa Rica is asking FIFA for a spot for Liga Deportiva in next summer's Club World Cup and is willing to take legal action. And we now take a look at entertainment stories that we are tracking, all that's making news from the world of glitz and glamour. The Gujarat BJP government has declared that the movie Sabarmati Report, which is based on the 2002 Godhra train burning incident, tax-free in the state. Gujarat now becomes the fifth BJP-governed state to grant tax-free status to Vikram Mase's starring film, which was released in theatres last week. Earlier this week, Rajasthan, Haryana, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh also made the film tax-free, which would reduce its ticket prices. Following his reviewing of the Sabarmati Report, Rajasthan Chief Minister, along with state cabinet ministers and party workers, urged everyone to watch the movie, praising it for revealing the truth.
मैं कहना चाहता हूं सभी को कि ये देखनी चाहिए हमारे राजस्थान के सभी लोगों को, क्योंकि जिस तरह से झूठ परोसा गया था, क्या दिखाया गया था, आज हम कह सकते हैं कि जिस तरह से साबरमती ने सभी को सच बताने का काम किया है और ये सत्य है कि सत्य कभी मर नहीं सकता।
Simon Biles will appear alongside Snoop Dogg on the reality competition series in a new episode that is set to air on 25th of November. As a coach on the show, Snoop enlisted Biles as a mentor during the playoff round to guide 5 vocalists competing for a spot in the live shows. Reflecting on the experience, Biles even shared that it was a great opportunity to collaborate as they were able to bounce ideas off each other and provide valuable insights to the artists as they prepared for the next round.
I think for me it was amazing. We were able to riff off of each other and to just give the artists the best insight going into their the next round. So I thought it was really fun. I think it was pretty easy, simple. We're both very mellow, I think. But if we need to bring that energy up, then we can, and we can read the contestants and see how they're feeling. But for us, it was just about instilling confidence going into the next week.
The Luna Luna exhibition has opened in New York City, which brings to life one man's vision of reinventing a magical 20th century carnival created by artist Andre Heller. Luna Luna originally debuted in 1987 in Hamburg, Germany, and featured works of some of the world's most renowned modern artists. Michael Goldberg, chief creative staff, also said that this experience is an opportunity to learn about the rise, fall, and revival of Luna Luna. Visitors came and saw one-of-a-kind pieces such as Jean Michel's Basquiat's Paris Carousel in this event.
First and foremost, you get to learn about the rise, fall, and resurrection of Luna Luna. You then get to see these truly unique, one-of-a-kind works, you know, the only Jean-Michel Basquiat Ferris wheel, Keith Haring carousel. You can go and come and get married to whomever or whatever you would like at Andre Heller's wedding chapel. You could walk through the Glass Labyrinth by Roy Lichtenstein. And then the New York City edition of Luna Luna, we're really excited to premiere a new work by a duo called Poncelli Creation.
And that's all we have for you in this edition of our broadcast, but stay tuned for all the top stories after we come back.